Hello everyone, welcome you all to my channel Champions Learn and Grow. So today we will learn about the chapter number 1, that is crop production and management of your class 8. This is the part 2 of the chapter and the link of the part 1 I have given in the description box. In the part 1 I have discussed about the first step, that is the soil preparation, right? In this we have learned about how the soil is generally prepared for growing the crops, right? For this we have to do plowing and tilling, right? And then leveling. So after the preparation of soil, our land looks like this, right? Now after this what we will do, the second step, we will do the sowing of the seeds, right? This is the second activity that the farmers do after the preparation of the soil, right? Now let's understand about the second step, that is seed sowing. How the seeds are sowed inside the land, right? So sowing is the most important part of the crop production, right? Before sowing, what we have to do is we have to select the good quality seeds that are very important. In order to get a good crop, we have to select the good quality seeds, as good quality seeds are clean and healthy, right? Farmers usually prefer to use seeds which give a very high yield. So how can we select the good seeds? First of all, what we can do, we can put seeds in water. Then if the seeds float on the water, it means they are lighter. So the damaged seeds are hollow and thus they are lighter as compared to the healthy seeds. Healthy seeds will settle down and the damaged seeds will float on the water. So with this activity we can select our healthy seeds. So this is a good method for separating healthy seeds from the damaged ones, right? Now how we can sow seeds in the field, right? There are traditional tools which were used earlier for sowing. For example, these traditional tools which were used by farmers were like a funnel. You can see in the picture, this is a funnel. Farmers what do, they basically put seeds inside the funnel, right? When they put seeds inside the funnel, seeds pass down into 2 to 3 pipes, and these pipes have a very sharp ends which pierce into the soil and place seeds there, right? You can see the structure of funnel. This is a funnel and these are the pipes which are attached to the funnel, and these pipes have got very sharp edges. So farmers put seeds inside the funnels, and these pipes carry the seeds, and through these edges seeds are inserted deep into the soil, right? So this is the traditional way of sowing the seeds. Nowadays seed drills are used for sowing the seeds with the help of tractors. You can see this is a picture of the seed drill, right? And tractors are generally used for uh, carrying out this putting the seeds inside the field, right? Tractors are attached with this seed drill. What are the advantage of this seed drill? This tool sows the seeds at proper distances and uniform depths. So you can see the structure of the seed drill. With this seed drill we can put seeds at proper distances, right? It ensures that seeds get covered properly by the soil after the sowing, right? And this prevents the damage caused by the birds. The seeds will be put inside the soil, right? So that the birds can't eat the seeds, right? Seed drill also saves lot of time and labor as it is attached to a tractor. So we can easily put seeds inside the crop fields, right? And one of the major advantage is an appropriate distance between the seed is important to prevent overcrowding of the plants, right? So seeds are put at proper distances so that no crowding of the plants will be there. This allow the each and every plants to get sufficient sunlight, nutrients and water from the soil, right? Now after the sowing of the seeds, what we do is, the third step is the addition of manures and fertilizers to the soil, right? The substances which are added to the soil in the form of nutrients for healthy growth of plants are known as manures and fertilizers. After sowing, we want that our crops should be healthy and gives high yield should be given by the crops, right? So we have to put manures and fertilizers to the soil. So as we know that continuous growing of the crops make the soil poorer in certain nutrients. So the farmers have to add manure to the fields to replenish the soil with the nutrients. This process is known as manuring. So we replenish our soil with the nutrients, right? So soil will get nourished with the nutrients. So our crop will be healthy, right? Improper or insufficient manure results in weak plants. If we will not add sufficient amount of manure, it will result in the weak plants, right? Now we will understand the use of manures to the soil. The manures basically improves the soil texture as well as water retaining capacity, right? It also makes the soil porous, due to which the gaseous exchange occurs. It also increases the number of friendly microbes, and it replenishes the soil with lots of nutrients. So that is why we should add manure to the soil to improve its nutrient capacity, right? And apart from manures, farmers also use fertilizers. What are these? These are the chemicals which are rich in particular nutrient. For example, urea, ammonia, sulfate, phosphate and potash, NPK. These are all the examples of the fertilizers which are added to the soil, right? The use of fertilizers, what they do, give better yield of the crops. For example, wheat, paddy and maize. But one of the drawback is that they make the soil less fertile and also cause water pollution also. So apart from fertilizers, we should use more use of manure should be done as compared to fertilizers, right? Now we will see what is the difference between the fertilizer and the manure, right? This is very important question. It can be asked in your exams. So understand completely. Fertilizer is an inorganic salt, right? Whereas manure is a natural substance which is obtained by the decomposition of cattle, dung, human waste and plant residues. So it is a natural substance and it is a chemical, right? And it is an inorganic salt, right? So fertilizers are generally prepared in factories, whereas manure can be prepared in the fields. Third one, fertilizer does not provide any humus to the soil, whereas manure provide lots of humus to the soil. Fourth one is fertilizers are very rich in plant nutrients like nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium, where manure is relatively lesser rich in these plant nutrients. So these are the basic differences between manure and fertilizer. So till now we have seen that first we have make our soil ready, right? Then we have what we have done. We have add seeds, then we have add nutrients to the soil by the use of adding of fertilizers and manures. Then what is the fourth step? Fourth step is the irrigation. After these all steps, we have to irrigate our crops, right? Fields. So what is irrigation? The supply of water to the crops at different intervals is known as irrigation, right? Watering of the crops at different intervals is known as irrigation. So the time and the frequency of irrigation varies from crop to crop and soil to soil and season to season. In summer, the frequency of watering is higher as compared to the winters, as also some crops needs more water, for example paddy, and some crops need lesser water, right? So depending upon the crop and the season, this irrigation time and frequency varies. Understood? Now what is the importance of irrigation? Let's understand. Plants nearly contain 90% of water, right? And water is very essential for the germination of seeds. Also, it is also essential for the proper growth of the plants, development of flowers, fruits and seeds. Apart from this, water also protects plants from the frost and also from the hot air currents. So that is why irrigation is very important, right? So now we will understand the various methods of irrigation. There are basically two methods of irrigation. traditional methods and the modern methods. Traditional methods consist of moat or pulley system, Dekli system, chain system and the Rahat system. And the modern methods include sprinkler system and the drip system. So let's understand students about these various methods of irrigation. These are very interesting. Let's understand them. Now first are the traditional methods of irrigation. What are they? In these methods, water available in the wells, canals is lifted up by the various methods in different regions for taking it to the field. For example, in this method, cattle or human labor are used. These methods are cheaper but less efficient. Lot of water was wasted in these methods. So let's understand one by one about the traditional methods of irrigation. First is the moat or the pulley system. Now in this method, you can see in the picture, it is composed of a pulley and a rope, right? You can see in the picture, there is a pulley, right? And there is a rope. This is the pulley and this is a rope, right? This is a pulley and this is a rope. One bucket is tied to one end of the rope. This is the rope and bucket is tied at the one end of rope, right? Another end of the rope is pulled over a pulley in order to draw the water, right? By this method, water is directly taken out of the wells with the help of pulley and it is used to irrigate the fields. It is a simple pulley based method. In this, the person used to take out water from the well with the help of a pulley, right? This is one of the traditional method. Now the second is Dekli system of irrigation. What happens in this is, in this traditional method, irrigation is mainly seen in these rural areas, right? Farmer places a long wooden log near the well. You can see in the picture, this is a long log of wood, right? It is placed on a fork structure. You can see this is a fork structure, right? So with one arm it is tied to the stone. One arm of this log is tied to the stone and one arm in this bucket is tied, right? So what person do is, the person lowers the empty bucket into the well, right? And when the bucket gets filled, it leaves the bucket. So the bucket comes up as the wooden log lifts the bucket up due to the heavy stone tied on the other arm. So it acts as a basically lever. So this is the most simpler method which was used in rural areas, right? So this is the Dekli system of irrigation. Now the next is the Rahat or the lever system. What was done in this system? It is used to draw water from the well by using number of buckets which were tied on a chain of big wheel fixed on the well. You can see in the picture, there is a large number of buckets which are tied on a big wheel, right? Fixed on the well. This is the well. The lower end of the wheel is inside the well, right? So the wheel is generally turned with the help of a bull, which helps in drawing water from the reservoir. So by this method, the farmers used to irrigate the fields. This is the Rahat or the lever system, right? Now the next is the chain pump system. What happens in this is, the chain pump system generally consists of two large wheels, as you can see in the picture, right? And these two large wheels, they are generally connected by an endless chain, right? So bottom wheel is generally half immersed in the water source, right? As the wheel is turned, the connected buckets dip into the pool, right, and pick up the water, and the chain then carries the empty buckets back into the refilled to be refilled and the process continues. So this is also very interesting method in which the fields were irrigated by this chain pump method. In this, chain is generally connected to the wheels and buckets are connected to the chain, right? So in this way the irrigation was done. Now we will understand what are the modern methods of irrigation. These methods help us to save water basically, unlike the traditional methods where water wastage was very high. So one of the modern methods is the sprinkler method, right? So in this system, it is very useful on uneven land where sufficient water is not available, right? What happens in this system is, there are perpendicular pipes, right, having rotating nozzles. These nozzles are generally rotating, right? These are generally joined to the main pipeline at the regular intervals. So when the water is allowed to flow through the main pipe under pressure, it escapes through these nozzles, right? So it gets sprinkled on the crops as if it raining, as it is like a raining. So it is very good for the sanding soils. So this is the sprinkler method in which there is no wastage of water, right? Next method is the drip irrigation method. What happens in drip irrigation method is, in this, water falls drop by drop near the plant root through the small openings called as drippers. So it is called as a drip system. You can see in the picture, these are the pipes which are present right near the roots of the crops. So water comes drop by drop, and it is just water is added over the roots of these plants. Okay, the water is generally coming through a small holes. These are known as drippers. So this is the best technique for watering food plants, gardens and trees. So this system provides water to the plants drop by drop, so the water is not wasted at all, and it is very helpful in regions where the availability of water is poor. So that is why it is called as a drip irrigation, right? As water falls drop by drop. So with this we finish our second part. So if you like my channel, please like, share and subscribe it, right? Thank you so much.